Future you is coming whether you're ready or not, and he's depending on the choices you're making today.
Look, Reese, I don't know what you want.
Pay attention!
Hey, real quick, I'm not trying to sell you anything. This series isn't going to be about motorcycles, though I plan to do as many of those as I possibly can. This series is going to be about investing, about retirement planning, the poor decisions I made along the way, thankfully the wins I've had along the way. My thinking is I can pay it forward and help others the way I've been helped. You can help out by liking this and sharing your own experience in the comments. Be very grateful for that, and I'm sure the community at large would be too. Thanks so much. Hey, I'm Chris, and this is Carolina Motor Life. Motorcycles, midlife, and the road ahead.
It was never easy for me.
Hey, thank you for joining me. This is my midlife wake-up call story that I'm going to share with you so that you can learn from the mistakes I've made and get a jump on your future or share your own story. For me, I didn't really realize I was in midlife until I turned 50. I think I was just busy. Of course, I'd been in midlife a lot longer than that, but I was just focused on providing for a family of 8.
But my life is good. Really good.
Retirement really felt distant. Oddly enough, 50 was just a few years ago. And here I am definitely thinking about it more and more. Thankfully, I had done some things that put it on autopilot, and we'll be talking about that. Growing up, I saw 2 extreme examples. I had some relatives who saved so aggressively that they forgot to live life at all. They just really did. And in their old age, they would admit that. They're certainly very well off, but there are certain opportunities you can only do at certain ages with physical strength and endurance and stuff like that. That once you miss those windows, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to go back and do those things. And then I have examples who spent everything, every last penny they got the moment they got it. Thankfully, they all had pensions. Strangely enough, both of those examples had pensions. And so they're at least provided for in their old age. For me, I don't have a pension. I don't have any kind of safety net, and I knew my future depended entirely on me. And at the time, a while back when I got started, I was of the opinion that I wasn't going to get Social Security because that's what all the people I spoke to had said to me. Reality is, and I hope they had this much thought, that it was to try to motivate me to actually save, which I did, thankfully. But that's another story. So, as I said, I made plenty of mistakes, and I want to help you avoid those so that you can get a jump on your own retirement. So one of the best things you can do is think about what you want your future to look like. What do you think future you is going to need, especially, but also want? So for me, I want a healthy, active lifestyle, and I want freedom to pursue the things that matter to me. I'd really like the ability to visit my kids, hopefully future grandkids, whenever I want. I'd like the freedom to ride my motorcycle across the country, go fishing, and volunteer my time with organizations that are doing what I believe is meaningful work. At the end of the day, I want to retire on my own terms, not defined by limitations or financial stress. Much of that, obviously, you can't control, but you can set yourself up at least to minimize any financial stress. So for me, the moment everything changed, actually, I'll back up on that as I've got it here. I had a degree in finance, or I have a degree in finance, and I came to indexing late in my journey. And I really think that's because, like many people, I just assumed it would be easy to beat the average. And for me, I traded actively in my IRA and my taxable account. And I had some winners, I had some losers. I've actually seen stocks go to zero which is very, very painful. And it wasn't until I realized that my 401k index funds that were just sitting there and accumulating month after month over time consistently outperformed my actively managed IRA and other accounts. So that's what got me kind of researching why. And that's when I discovered the boggleheads. So I went down the rabbit trail of reading every possible book I could on that topic. Wealth of education, super helpful. But then I wanted to find a book I could recommend to others. And that book I found was J.L. Collins, The Simple Path to Wealth. And I was able to give that to my children. I've recommended that to people who report to me, young people that have reported to me over the years. I have this conversation with them just to say, would you like to learn something that I learned so that you don't have to learn it the hard way? And I've had them come back and thank me for doing that for them years later. Now, here's some of the mistakes I made. I ran every possible kind of simulation and created all sorts of models, including convoluted neural network models, every machine learning algorithm you can think of to try to beat the market. I mentioned Monte Carlo simulations here only for my memory. And then I would run Monte Carlo simulations. Does my model beat just simple indexing? And time again, it turned out they might for a brief moment when that advantage was available. But over time, those advantages just disappear. And so they really weren't, the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, as they say. The breakthrough realization for me, or the breakthrough for me, was realizing how much effort I was putting in. I would get up crazy early to work on my models, sift that sand. I would work late into the evening trying to figure out there must be a way that I can do this. And the reality is, without getting very lucky, and luck is not something that I want to rely on, you're not going to become the next Oracle of Omaha. Embracing simplicity, becoming a bogglehead, an indexer, as it were, simplified everything. It's much less stress, more clarity. I could concentrate on my calling and trying to advance my career instead of trying to find that needle in a haystack. Getting the market average doesn't mean being average. This one, I don't remember if I got this right away, and I'll be going a deeper dive on this, but on all of these topics, very short, deeper dive just to explain them, probably in a short or something like that. But if you get the average year in and year out, and the rest of the investors, half of them are getting worse returns, half are getting better, but that's in a single year. To beat the average year in and year out, and I'll try to put this in the comments too. I had calculated this once before too. It is infinitesimally a small probability that you can even do that, and that probability shrinks exponentially as your time horizon grows. So it is extremely difficult to beat the market year in and year out. The SPIVA report shows that the majority of active fund managers fail to beat their indexes over time. And I'll link to, in fact, I'll insert a screenshot of the report here. So as you can see, this SPIVA report shows that 88% of actively managed funds underperform the index. So it's just a huge difference. This is over 15 years, but I'll also link to it in the description. It's super valuable to dig into that report. And again, the longer the time horizon, the more indexing outperforms. It's just the truth. And so once you wrestle with that and embrace indexing, your investment life becomes super simple. And I say it's simple, it's not easy because Then it's just your self-discipline and sticking with it when the world around you seems to be going crazy, which every year it seems to be going crazy. And they give you a million reasons to try to sell or time the market. But that is another fool's errand for sure. So by choosing simplicity and consistency, again, I freed up tons of time for what matters most to me. So the message from future you, this is a good exercise again to think through intentionally about your future self and what you want in your future. It's never too late to start. I have a friend, and this is such a tragedy. He's my age. He has saved exactly $0 for his retirement. And thankfully, again, that we'll have Social Security. But I don't I don't want to eat cat food in retirement, and I'd like to be able to, like I said, do the things that I want to do and not have to work when I don't want to work. I'm in a career that I enjoy, and I'm thankful for that. But even with that, that has a shelf life, and there'll come a day when I don't want to do that anymore. That said, it is never too late, but you have to start today. Action today is essential. Financial freedom is built gradually through consistent choices. It's those daily choices that we make, both financially and physically, that shape our tomorrow. There are people who get rich quick, but the reality is they tend to lose it just as quick. And indexing offers peace of mind and long-term resilience. So whether you're experiencing market volatility, if you're indexing, you're going to outperform one way or the other over time. So that's where I'm ending this one. If I've rambled, I apologize, but I would love to know what lessons you have learned and how you are taking care of your future self. Share that in the comments if you would, and I'm sure others would profit from that as well. Thank you so much. Have a great day.